Well, welcome to another update of the Oldsmobile project. We received a bunch of parts the last day or two for the stereo project and also for the interior. We've updated and replaced a bunch of the gauge cluster lights, so that's all going to be nice and bright now. We've received the stereo parts, so we're going to get the stereo installation completed. And then also we received the fog light housings and the mounting brackets back from sandblasting, so they're getting ready to be painted, and I'll show you where they're currently at. So without further delay, let's go ahead and take a look and see where we're at on the project. Alright, so what we have here are the brackets for the fog lights. This is how they mount underneath the car. And then here's the housings. These actually mount inside here. So what we see here is we've got them back from sandblasting. Got all the rust and the flake paint off. We still got to do a little bit of cleanup yet. You can see here we still have some of the old sealer. So we're going to have to scrape that out. But once we get that done, then we'll go ahead and get them repainted. We'll do black on the outside, then we'll do a nice chrome on the inside. Same with these reflector parts of the fog lights. And then we'll get them these painted as well, get them remounted back in the car. We've already tested the lights themselves, so they work pretty good now with the new bulbs. What we have here is all the parts that we've got in from Crutchfield today, actually yesterday, to get the stereo upgraded. We've got our RCA wires. Here we've got a Bluetooth FM transmitter. Been hearing good things about these, so we thought we'd give it a try. I don't know how well it's going to work, but being that we're retaining the factory radio, not actually upgrading to a different head unit, this is about the only way we're going to be able to connect with our smartphones. But we'll be able to then do Pandora and that sort of thing, so that'll be nice to have. Here we got some wires. Here was the universal antenna adapter I was looking for to attach the new non-powered antenna with the antenna going to the deck, the antenna wire going to the deck. So we needed a female adapter with two female ends on it. Nobody in town had one, so I had to order that. It's actually already in the car, works pretty good. What we have here is we have a line-out converter. This is where we're going to tap into our rear speaker signal and then bring that back into the trunk where the subs are going to be with the amp. Converts it to RCA, and then we can plug that into the amp. So then here we've got our amp power kit. It's got our power wires, our ground, some covering. We got our fuse, some power ons, wires, and then we got some quick connectors here. So where we're at right now on this part of it to actually do the install is we're trying to find a location for the power wire to run through the firewall. I think I've got a location figured out, and I just got to figure out how to get there and get the hole in there and get the wire run. And then we've got the new door speakers. We got some nice Memphis components, the PR series 5 1/4. I actually have these same series in my truck. Really happy with them. We've already replaced the rear speakers in the car with the matching non-components, so it's going to be a nice sounding system. Doesn't make a lot of sense. These are a pretty good value speaker. They're not the most expensive, but they're also not really cheap, you know, like what you get at Walmart or even Best Buy. So in a convertible, you're going to lose a lot of sound. So we went with a nice mid-range. Like I said, they worked really well in my truck. Was really happy with them. So give them a try here. Here you can see the back side of the sub box. It's got the amp on there already. This is from an install I did quite a few years ago into a Thunderbird. So we're reusing. It's got a pair of 10s on it. I'll pull it around here. A pair of nice Trio 10s, 10-inch subs. So these they actually thumped pretty hard, but they worked really well for all kinds of different music. So not just any kind of bass music, but so as you see here, this really hasn't changed too much. There's drying out some of the parts that were wet from the trunk yet, But those are all pretty much dry now. This was the netting. We actually had to wash that. That's actually really good now. Here, again, we've got the boot that goes on the convertible top. That actually turned out pretty well. We got some other parts for the trunk. We still got our floor mats. Seats still need to be cleaned up. I haven't quite got there yet. We wanted to get this electrical stuff taken care of first. But then over here you can see, here's the dash cover. And that actually goes underneath the dash right there. So that's where we're at on that. So we'll move in over here by the car. Just to see, we got the trunk taken apart, and what we have here now is you can see where we've got the adapter for the coax cable for the antenna. So it works pretty good. That'll all be tucked away underneath behind the carpet, but we do have to, the reason we have this wire out here is, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this green wire is what we're going to be using for the signal to power on the amp. So we're going to tie into that. This was actually to the original power antenna. I think I'm going to replace that eventually with another power antenna, but we have to locate one. That's one of the things we're finding with this era of car, between cash for clunkers and then just the fact that these were kind of throwaway cars. Replacement parts are not really easy to come by. So, you know, the junkyards are crushing anything that really comes in. Then there's really not an aftermarket industry for these era of cars yet. The years just before this, you can get some pretty good aftermarket support, but not with these quite yet. So here's the stereo. We got the dash tore apart, as you can see. See underneath there, we're trying to find where to run the power wire through for the amp through the firewall. We got the stereo pulled out because we were identifying some different wires. We've actually got the steering column dropped down an inch or two right now, just to make it easier to get this dash in and out. Again, so here's where we're at. Carpet cleaned up pretty good. We'll vacuum it again before we put the seats in, just to get it looking really good again. Other than that, you can see, we zoom in here a little bit. There's the new speakers for Memphis in the rear. So pan out and see if maybe we can get this one over here a little better. But yeah, we can adjust these different areas, but we got to get the grills on them. We're working on an adapter plate right now. Once that gets in, then we can put the grills back on. So we have to actually come in behind here yet. We have to tie into some of the wires for the speaker so that we can run the signal to the rear for the amp. Other than that, come around. We got the charger on the battery right now because we don't want to wear that down too much. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of real estate underneath the hood here for getting through the firewall. These cars did come with a manual transmission in the early years. You can't really see, it's too dark in there. But right in there, in this area right here, these cars in the late 80s and early 90s, a manual transmission was available, a 5-speed manual. And there's actually a hole with a grommet in it right now that is probably the best place to run the power from the battery, which is down here underneath the washer there. See, there's a post here where we've got the charger too, but the actual battery's underneath here, where we'll run the power through that grommet and then down from underneath the dash there and then back to the trunk of the car. So that's what we're going to be working on now. Other than that, you can see our table of parts. We still got some things going on. This is part of the steering column. This was from the power antenna. There's one of the old speaker grills that we're going to be replacing. Here's part of the roll bar trim. Of course, the top, the replacement top. There's the old power antenna. Again, this one's pretty well beat up and shot, but we need to find a replacement. But other than that, Yeah, we wanted to show you the dash, so let me go turn some lights off here quick so we can show you what the dash lights look like. There, turn some lights off. Much better. See how nice that is? And we can dim them down, bring them back up. There's our dome light. But then I'll pop the flashers on. Little high beam light. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. Actually, the lights on the other areas, you know, the shifting column, stereo and stuff, actually was pretty good. Over here in the passenger armrest, see where there was the controls for the climate control. So yeah, as you see, you know, we're making progress on the car. It looks a little slow, but we're actually getting things done. So you're going to start seeing some really good progress once we start getting into putting the seats back in. I expect to hope to have it on the road sometime on Sunday, but we'll see. We still have a lot of things even right, so once it's back on the road. We still have to get tires, get the struts, rear struts done on it. There needs some mufflers, so we're getting there. So until next time, talk to you later.